Hey, everybody, Madeleine here to look at the astrology for September of 2025. And boy, what a dramatic month ahead we have. Business will not be as usual as we have two eclipses. We have other transits too, but I think they're going to be dwarfed by these two big eclipses. We have Mercury moving into the sign of Virgo, which will really sharpen our minds. Will be in its exaltation in the sign of Mercury. And then we have Venus going out of Leo into the sign of Virgo, where it is more in debilitation. Well, I'll go into all 12 signs for these. And then we also have Mars moving into Scorpio. So, but I think those transits are not going to be as felt as loud as the eclipses are. We have the two eclipses. The first one is going to be in the sign of Pisces at 15 degrees 22 on the 7th of September. It is the exact same eclipse that we had on that day, same day, 2006. And then we have a second new moon lunar eclipse. The first one is a full moon solar eclipse. This is going to be a new moon solar, sorry, full moon lunar. This is new moon solar on the 21st of September in the sign of Virgo at 29 degrees. So I'm going to go into all the 12 signs for each of these transits, mostly focusing on the eclipses, of course. Now, let's go ahead and look at the first eclipse. I'm going to go ahead and share the chart. I'm outside by the lake enjoying a lovely day outside. I couldn't be inside. Now, this eclipse looks really nice. I don't know if the one in 2006 had the same blessings. I have to go back and look at it, but this promises to be quite a nice eclipse because Jupiter is ruling Pisces. And the North Node is right there, and Jupiter is trining the nodes. And this is like a very auspicious part of the sky. It's also a very spiritual part of the sky. Um, so when Jupiter is making such a favorable aspect to a lunation, it's basically showing us a higher elevated perspective because Jupiter wants to expand our life, wants us to expand our life into the direction of our Dharma, because when we walk our Dharma, we're serving humanity in the way that we were designed to serve humanity. So Jupiter is blessing this eclipse with clarity of purpose and a reinvigoration of faith in the path. And we're with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, we're clearing sort of our soul's debris, our mental debris that blocks us from our soul's knowing. And we're really following some sort of not such a clear path because the North Node and the sign of Pisces is also ruled by Neptune, which happens to be very close and also making a very positive aspect in this eclipse, which also blesses it. But this journey with the North Node in Pisces is aligning us with our true soul's essence and to walk a life where our soul's desire, where we're feeding and nurturing the soul, not the material. It is a big eclipse of releasing because the South Node being in Virgo and full moons are big revelations and show us what we need to let go of. So it can be really challenging sometimes. If it's a relationship that needs to be let go of, it can be very, very painful. But this month will be charged with intense energies and heightened emotions and sudden twists of fate and passions and power plays, because we do have Venus in Leo, so that kind of heightens the passionate energy of this month, of course. But the eclipse will so eclipses basically end things and bring things. Eclipses something out and invite something in new. Eclipses, you see, there's Jupiter in its exaltation, by the way, which is a really good blessing for this eclipse, which makes it extremely abundant. Honestly, the more you let go and flow during this eclipse, the less struggle, trust that it's going to take us somewhere really good. Because here is Jupiter making a beautiful angle to this eclipse. Look at that. It's trining the North Node in the moon. It's a full moon lunar eclipse with Jupiter trining it like a big light saying, this is your Dharma, this is the way to go, this is what you're made for, this will nurture your soul. Leave anything behind that isn't your authentic part of your authentic path and your authentic soul's purpose. So it can come with challenges, but these are really beautiful angles. So I'm going to say we're relieved to let these things go. We're relieved to end these chapters. We're relieved to release this noise in our life. So we're basically clearing a path that takes us in a direction that truly nourishes our soul more and puts us in our true dharmic destiny, because the two things coincide, of course. All right. So that is the first eclipse. I'm going to go into all 12 signs about that. And now let's look at how beautiful that kite goes to the eclipse. So here it is. We're at the tail of the eclipse. So basically, this is untangling that big knot because it's happening at the end degree point of Pisces, or shall we say, it's opposing Saturn at that end degree point, and it's even in the shape of a kite. And here we are with the kite on the material realm, because Virgo um, the Virgo Pisces axis is all about the spiritual versus the material, right? And the practical versus the impractical. So we're going to have this kite configuration blessing us as we let something major go that releases the kite, that releases us from our karmic entanglement. So this is like the final, shall we say, it wouldn't be final because we do have the South Node continuing in Virgo, but this being the eclipse there makes it a big release of something final because it's at 29 degrees. So it's really the end of something. So we're really wrapping an old pattern, an old cycle. Our day-to-day routines are going to completely change. Our health decisions or choices are going to change. We're going to make much more soulful aligned decisions that will improve our health. We're spiritually releasing ourselves from old paradigms and old thinkings and old thoughts, and we're changing them because we're at the end degree point and Saturn is there. So Saturn is telling us, look, we have to devote to something seriously. We have to put all our eggs in this basket and devote to it, and treat it like it's a long-term thing, because we have to align with something here that Saturn wants us to align with, but at the same time, we have to release whatever's not a part of that. And we've cleared our karmic behaviors that are causing these patterns. And so, it's like we're untangling ourselves from that karmic knot in order to begin something new that really takes us a whole new cycle, a whole new 29-year cycle. So we're really headed in a new direction here, obviously very big. Now, Jupiter again is making, and again, a very positive aspect to this eclipse. So I think these eclipses are very abundant and very auspicious for everybody. So I'm excited to go through all the 12 signs. All right. I will see you there. All right. All right, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising. This eclipse is happening for you in your ninth and your third. The first eclipse on the 7th is happening in your ninth house, where you're going to have a big shift in your perception. There's going to be some sort of revelation about your belief system, about your spiritual path, or about your educational pursuits and direction that is going to basically break your mind open and break it free from some sort of mental cage and embrace some kind of higher truth. Now, the ninth house is the house of travel, the house of religion, the house of your ideological belief system. It's basically higher education colleges, and some people may suddenly have this new inspired desire to learn something new, go back to college, take an astrology course. That would be very much, that's exactly what happened to me, because this eclipse happened in 2016. Again, we had the same Virgo Pisces axis, and that is when I started astrology. So Cancer is going to be stepping in as also the house of your Dharma. It is the house of discovery. It is the house of wandering, of seeking. It is very, very blessed. It is the house of Jupiter. So this is going to be a very blessed eclipse for you, where some sort of lucky opportunity comes in that opens the door for you to travel or to go to school. Maybe I would love to take a year off and just go into an immersive course and study like some sort of philosophy or the ancient hermetic wisdom or something like that. That would just be really fun for me. So some sort of you're leaving practicality, because the South Node is in that third house, which is practical, what you used to think, what everybody thinks around you, and you're sort of expanding into another expanding your horizons, expanding your visions about what's possible for your life. And Neptune also being so close to this, and Neptune being in your 10th house, it's most likely most cancers are involved in spiritual types of occupations. I so discovered as I'm Cancer rising, and then that I tried to do everything else in my life but this is what I'm supposed to do, as those eclipses in Pisces show you what you're supposed to do. And so you're going to step boldly into some sort of new path, a new spiritual belief. Your mind's going to break open, and when that mind opens up even more, which I always find happens on these eclipses. I believe more every time I see any kind of a lunation or some sort of transit to my ninth house. I think I'm going to change my mind and not believe in this, but I just believe in it even more every time I get any kind of a transit in my ninth house. And I see even more that there is a higher truth here that I can really access through these. It's an oracle astrology. That ninth house is it's like a window to the highest cosmic intelligence, the broad mind, the macro. It's how we learn what's going on. You get this opening, a greater understanding of the bigger picture in this eclipse. So, now, there's traveling involved in this eclipse, and with the South Node in Virgo, you could be letting go of like being practical and just being spontaneous. Now, remember, Jupiter is blessing this eclipse, and Jupiter is about travel. So you could absolutely be very blessed to take travel. Plus, you have Uranus in your 12th house, which would indicate that travel would work out very, very auspiciously for you. So let's go ahead. Oh yeah, so we're leaving with that South Node Virgo. We're at, I'm jumping around, but that South Node Virgo, you're releasing an old mental chaotic mental noise, mental, shall we say, overthinking about things, and the rational mind, and trying to make sure, because that South Node in Virgo, we're letting go of that, which is really preventing us from stepping out into the unknown and into the unseen. Because Pisces, it's not very clear where we're headed in this new beginning on this Pisces eclipse, but we can feel that it's the right way. It feels exciting. It feels very spiritually and angelically supported, this eclipse. And it is to get us on our dharmic destiny. All right. So then we've got that. Oh yeah, did I share the chart? Let me share the chart. Okay, let's share the chart here for you. And then I'm going to look at the other eclipse. See, there we have Jupiter in its exaltation making a great angle. So it's happening. The Virgo axis is your third and your ninth, even though here I'm putting it to Aries, but watch, 1, 2, 3, your third is Virgo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is your ninth house there. So you're looking, and look at how blessed Neptune is in this eclipse. Why? Neptune, rules this eclipse too. And it's in retrograde. So, there's always a potential that travel connections or travel plans of the past that didn't work out before now come into motion. But some sort of leadership because of that Neptune there. It's like you're really stepping into a leader in your field. All right, so the second eclipse is happening on the 21st of September, and that is in your third house. And it continues the theme of releasing third house things. Even though that first eclipse is technically in the ninth house, you will be letting go and creating room and clearing clutter in your life, clearing, changing neighborhood. There's a good chance you're moving in these eclipses. Cancer, you're ruled by the moon. Eclipses, you usually moon move. So your local environment, your local neighbors could change and shift. Something you could have terminate some sort of connection with a sibling. You could end a business. You could end a social media site. Um, a lot of things there in that third house that are being released. Arguing with people, communicating a lot, being so chitty chatty. What else could you be releasing? Some sort of a lifestyle pattern that is not healthy for you, that you maybe, if you're short distance driving a lot, it's causing you stress. You want to let that go. You could be letting go of a skill that you worked on that is not really part of your gift. Um, There's a lot of things to talk about with that third, releasing old ways of seeing things. You're letting go of the way you see things. You're letting go of being so super practical all the time. You're decluttering, um, again, moving, letting go of some old thing you were taught. Maybe some sort of you were taught one thing and you suddenly discovered that that was completely wrong. And you really let go of that old idea, the old concepts. So yeah, so like sibling relationships could show up and be very strained in this connection, in this eclipse. Um, there could be the first eclipse is going to give you powerful clarity, spiritual clarity, but this eclipse lets go of the old thinking that the new spiritual reality brought you in the first eclipse, right? And so you're really using your voice now more as a purpose and service rather than being popular. And, you may actually retreat from social media altogether and take some time off and just focus on that ninth house and follow your dharmic path and take a time off and study something and then come back to social media. But you're really about wisening your wisdom right now and upgrading who you are on social media, like becoming more knowledgeable and more educated at something so that when you do this new beginning, because this new moon solar eclipse brings completely new beginnings in this third house, that we already had that new moon there at the end of the month. So these big new beginnings, some sort of media project, communication project, um, can be very much initiated in this eclipse. Like you end a whole social media platform, you start a whole new social media platform. You're living in one neighborhood, maybe you move to a completely new neighborhood. You have a whole new group of people around you. And then you have a whole new do you see that first eclipse is opening your mind and shifting your perception? So then you have this, all these possibilities are going to open up for you. Media possibilities, writing, podcasting, all these a new business that what else is the third house? The third house is commerce. You could decide to sell something on social media. You suddenly have this idea to sell spiritual things on social media. If you have the planets that support this, it can really work out for you in this eclipse. I'm trying to think of some other really good new things that could happen here on this eclipse. It's a super duper auspicious eclipse. It really is, with Jupiter in exaltation making a very positive angle to the nodes, and the nodes are what determine that this is an eclipse because they are in the same sign. So yeah, that basically, so you're really opening it up to new beliefs, and you're really shifting from being a super busy, sort of busy, frenetic type energy in your life to more of a seeking a intuitive dharmic clarity of your what you're here to really do in this next chapter. And it's a really intuitive energy, but you're feeling it out and you can kind of start to feel what it is you're going to want to start shifting to. Now, this eclipse, the one on the 21st, could bring a crisis, of course. There could be drama in your neighborhood. There could be bad news. There could be shocking news. It could be disappointing. There might be you could actually just lose you suddenly get shadow banned and your social media account, it's dropped. That's happened to me. But I did a better job when I got back in. Then you start fresh. This eclipse is giving us a fresh slate. So then the other thing we want to look at before I sign off here for you guys is the current astrology. Oh, we're looking at September 1. So we're going to start seeing Mercury is going to move into your third house in the sign of Virgo. Wow, your mind's going to be supercharged, brilliant, intelligent. Cancer are already really pretty bright, but you're going to have this like brilliant ideas. That new moon Virgo could bring you that new moon eclipse could bring you a brilliant new idea with a brilliant project or a brilliant communication project of some sort, because Mercury's there and you're going to be sharpening, and Mercury's in exaltation. What a good month that's going to be for you. You're going to be very, very busy with that energy. And your third house is a busy house anyway. Short distance travel. Try not to drive on these eclipses though. Third house eclipses can bring accidents. Also, a new skill could show up. You discover a past life skill shows up. That's what happened to me on these eclipses. This is probably a past life a skill that I have. So anyway, so then we're going to have Venus in your, what house is Venus? Is going to be in your second house where you're getting very creative and probably feeling very creative about your work. I could say that for me because I get into these pictures that I put behind me. I find them kind of fun. So you're really experimenting in creativity and in your work and how you're earning your money. And or there could be, it can be a relationship house. That ninth house can be later in life partnerships. You could be getting into a relationship with Saturn retrograde. Saturn retrograde, by the way, going back into your ninth house, or untangling a karmic knot that could show up law issues. By the way, the eclipse in your ninth house could be a law, tax issues coming up, law stuff, divorce stuff. And that 29th degree or that Saturn retrograde is that final let go, that final done, releasing of that karmic chapter in relationships. But then the Venus is going to go into your third house again, where communication, you could get very creative and artistic about some sort of media project or communication project. You're really inspired, but Venus is not the most strong, but you got so many planets in Mercury, it's all going to kind of be a mix mash anyway. So, all right. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should say for Cancer. Basically, this is probably the most exciting eclipse for you in a while because all the things that Cancers love is in this. Cancers love to travel. Pisces over their ninth house, spiritual, perhaps you become a digital nomad of some sort, and you can continue your quest of spirituality and higher consciousness knowledge, because that's most Cancers are interested in that because of Pisces being over their ninth house. All right. I hope this was informative and helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful month. And if you would like a reading, please feel free to go to my website, soullevels.com, and press the booking link. And also like and subscribe. And if you would like to be on my email list, email me because I do a monthly letter send out of astro knowledge and info. All right. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.